Hello Year 4, so for our computing lesson this week we're going to be looking at using if-else statements in a simple program. So today you're going to understand what an if-else statement is and what a variable is in programming, and then how to set and change the variable values for your program to work. So this is the vocabulary that we're going to be looking at today. So if statements, if-else statement, conditionals, and variable. Just want you to take a moment and think. Do you recognise any of the vocabulary and what could they mean? Alright, let's take a look. So this lesson I want you to remember one new and important word. So that word is conditionals. So that means it's statements that only run under certain conditions. Now let's see what that means. Now I know we're not at school, but imagine you're all in the class and then I tell all of you that if you can all stay quiet for 30 seconds, then you will get a treat. So the condition is, if you can stay quiet, you'll get a treat. Now that might be extra break time, it might be bonus time, or it might be even a sweet at the end of the lesson. So let's see what our statement will look like. If you can all stay quiet for 30 seconds, then you will get a treat. So if something is true, then something will happen. But what if you didn't do it? That means we can use something called else. So if you all stay quiet for 30 seconds, then you will get a treat. Else, you will not get a treat and you will miss your break time. So think of else as another word for otherwise. This is called a conditional. A condition is something that happens or it doesn't. It's true or it's false. So let's look at this diagram here. If A is true, then B is going to happen. But if A is false, then C is going to happen. So let's use our example to help us. So if you're all quiet for 30 seconds, then you'll get a treat. But if you are not quiet for 30 seconds, then you will not get a treat. So if-then statements are conditionals. A conditional is an action that occurs if something specific happens. If-then statements are used in programming to trigger a set of instructions. So if we look at our picture here with the fish and the jellyfish is checking if the fish is touching it. If it's yes, then it's going to move somewhere else. But if the fish is not touching it, else, it will just stay where it is. Now if you open this PowerPoint, there's a video that you can click on and it will help you understand if-else statements a little bit better. So in code, the if-then condition can be if a keyboard key is pressed, so you might press the keyboard to move a character. If the mouse button is pressed, so if you click on something, something else might happen. If a sprite is touching another sprite, so if the jellyfish, for example, is touching the fish, or if a value is equal, less than, or greater than an amount. So on Purple Mash, it looks something like this. If something equals something else, then you can run this code. And you can see that it's indented. That means it will only happen if the if statement is true. If-else statements are similar to if statements, but it has something that will happen if the if statement is not true. So if the if statement is false. If the condition is true, then the commands in the if block will run. If the condition is false, then the commands inside the else block are run. So for example, if the jellyfish is touching the fish, then move away, else stay where you are. Another example is if you're hungry, then you can eat, else don't eat. So it's true and it's false. You're also going to be using variables today in your Purple Mash code. So variables are like boxes where the computer can store information. And this information in the box should have a label in it, or a name. And this name should be something that can help you remember what it is and what it does. So on Purple Mash later, you're going to use a variable called day. And this variable is going to tell us if it's day or night. So in the program, if it's the day, if it's the morning, it's going to be set as 0, but if it's the night, it's going to be set as 1. So this allows the program to differentiate between day and night. The information inside the box is called the variable value. So the day is the variable and the 0 or the 1 is the variable value. And the user or the program or even another variable can change this value. So there's a video here that you can watch until 52 seconds which explains what a variable is. So today on Purple Mash you are going to be completing the Night and Day Gibbon guided lesson. So you're going to be changing a program from night to day. So this diagram is something called a flowchart and it shows how the program works. So at the beginning of the program, the day is going to be set to 0, which means that it's the morning. And every 5 seconds is going to check if it's the day or if it's the night. If it is equal to 0, that means it's the morning. So it's going to show the sun, it's going to make the background blue, and it's going to set the day to 1. It's then going to go around and then check again. So if it's equal to 1, that means that it will be nighttime, it will hide the sun, it will make the background black, and it will set the day to 0. And this will keep going round and changing each time from day to night. So you can go ahead and log into Purple Mash. If you can't remember how to do that, you can look at the slides and it shows you how to log in. And remember to use your frog login. So you're then going to go to the top and click on To-Dos and then look at To Do, Night and Day. So you're going to press the Start button. It's different for me because I'm a teacher, but for you, you'll see the Start button. So click on that. You'll then be taken to your code for today. So number 1, holding the day. So let's click on that. Now you can watch a video to find out what to do, or you can click on the hints for some more help. So press OK. So make a number variable called day and set its value to 0. So we're going to do the first few together, and then if you need any help, you can use the question mark at the top and then press on the hint. I'm going to drag the create variable block, and it's a 0, so I need to set it as a number, and it wants to be called day, so I'm going to type that, and it wants its value to be set to 0. So to check if it's correct, press play, and it will say success, challenge completed, and go on to the next challenge. The next challenge is make a timer that gets called every 5 seconds. Put an if-else block in it. If the day variable is 0, set it to 1, otherwise set it to 0. So leave the block of code that you created earlier, and it says we need a timer. Now careful, because it says every 5 seconds, but the default is after. So we need to change this to every, we need to change this to 5. It then says we need an if-else block. So if the day variable is 0, so we're going to look here and click on the variable we created earlier, day. So if it equals 0, then we want to change the variable to 1. So click on day and set it to 1. Otherwise, else, we want to change the variable day to 0. So if we press play, it's going to check every 5 seconds if it's equal to 0 or if it's equal to 1, and it says challenge completed, so next challenge. So you can continue and complete this code. Now at the end, you can press exit and then save and exit. Then I want you to save it in your class. So for example, for Ash, coding 1, and then you're going to type your name and then press save. And then I'll be able to see all of your completed work and see how you've done. Okay, have fun and good luck.